Hey up everybody, welcome back to the Aldo Cycling YouTube channel, where today, on the second rest day of the Tour de France, I am going to be giving you an update as to how my VELOGAMES team is going. This is the team on screen. Of course, it hasn't changed since the last rest day because you can't do that with your team in VELOGAMES unless you're doing the stage hunter competition. And overall the team is going good. If you remember, or if you watched the last video, you will remember that I was just outside the top 100 last time. We have fallen ever so slightly to 177th, mainly because there's been quite a lot of breakaway victories in this second week, and I wasn't really, well, not a lot of my riders were in those breakaways. I was really hoping that a Ciccone or a Nons Peters might be up there in those stages, but that wasn't the case, which is a bit of a shame. But we do see that Ciccone is going for the K1 classification, so that's quite good. Peters just isn't looking that great, to be honest with you. I don't think he's going to be picking up any more points in this tour unless he gets in some breakaways or something. So maybe I should have gone with Vergelagen or Chris Neylands because he's looking really good as well. So there were some other riders I could have gone with in that position. Jakobsen is out of the race, which fortunately frees up Morkov to do the sprints. Of course, I know Jakobsen crashing is not good news, and you know it feels a bit wrong that Morkov is now going to be or my team might be now benefiting from that, but that's just the way that things go sometimes in racing, and you get fortunate in some ways and you get unfortunate in some other ways. I'm quite thankful that I've still got my whole team. This is probably the furthest into a Grand Tour I've ever got with a VELOGAMES team without losing a rider. And, you know, we've still got the big performers of Pogacar's still in the top, is still fighting for the victory. Yates is looking like a podium candidate. Unfortunately, Hindley slipped out of third, but he's down to about 5th place. I reckon with the TT and maybe the Col de la Loze and stage 20 plus the GC points, I reckon Hindley will just about creep on to that 100 points per rider credit. Pidcock's slipping out of GC. Maybe he'll go into a breakaway or two. That's still wait to see. He might just be helping Carlos Rodriguez, but Pidcock's still a decent choice. Christoph, of course, hasn't really been that many sprints this week, so Christoph hasn't really been doing much, but there's maybe 2 or 3 sprint opportunities in these final few days, so I'm hoping that Christoph is going to pick up a couple of top 10s, and especially on like the Champs-Élysées, he's got such a good track record on that course. I'm really hoping that Christoph might finish top 5 there. That would really help me out in a lot of the leagues. But overall, I'm very happy with the team. Of course, yeah, Philipsen is getting close to that 100 points per rider credit barrier that I've set. But honestly, the race is going quite well. Yes, we have fallen a little bit, but I think that my team is quite well designed for the last week in terms of they're either going to be GC days, in which case I've got Pogacar, Yates and Hindley up there. They're either going to be breakaway days where, you know, Ciccone might be picking up some KOM classification points and going in a break. Pidcock might go in a break. And then there's sprints where I've got Philipsen, Morkov now in the game, and Alexander Kristoff. So I'm really happy with my team composition going into this final week. Of course, there were some better choices which I could have gone with, including Carlos Rodriguez would have been a really nice addition instead of Ciccone, because that would have given me another rider inside the top 10, especially since Carlos Rodriguez did win a stage as well, so he is right up there in those points. He's got 828 points in comparison to Ciccone's 441, so overall I think that Carlos Rodriguez will be getting more points than Ciccone. And yeah, overall maybe I could have gone not with Ciccone but an 8-point rider and then put those points into Nons Peters to get a Kwiatkowski or a Mohoric more realistically. Or maybe put him on to Christoph to get another 8-point rider like Sepp Kuss, who's doing quite well. He's picking up some very consistent points, which is putting my position under threat in a couple of leagues, I must admit. Pello Bilbao as well, could have gone with him as well. But overall, yeah, the team is doing quite well. I'll give a shout out to whoever is leading the Audi Cycling League. So let's take a look. So it is Mr. Goofy Pro Cycling Team. Joe, I think you are leading. Yeah, you're leading. So freaking congrats to that. If you are watching this video, be sure, I'm sure we would all appreciate you putting in the comment section the thinking behind your team, shedding a bit of light. So, because that would be really helpful for us all, because obviously you are, you know, in a very prime position to be doing very well in this race, including 4 riders inside the top 10. Pidcock's just on the fringes, and then you got Mohoric, Neylands, Cockard. Yeah, Cockard's a really good one too. I guess my team's kind of similar. I've got, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the same riders. Cockard instead of a Christoph. And then instead of Ciccone, you went with Guillaume Martin. Then you put those points into Mohoric and you went with a different 4-point rider. So it's all fine margins in VELOGAMES, and that's what makes it such a fantastic game to play. But be sure to put in the comments down below, how is your team going? Hopefully we've had some good breakaway victories, so be sure, if you're one of those people who've had a good breakaway victory, put that in the comments down below. I'd love to hear about that. And all that is left to say is to stay safe out there, enjoy the Tour de France, and I will see you at the end of the Tour de France. Salut!
Je sais bien, tout ça doit sûrement te faire rire, mais donnez-moi le temps d'entendre ces sourires.